as part of my own research, I mean, I can read about it and I can hear the stories from people and all that, but it does really help if I can get the information straight from the people's mouths, the ones that have actually had the experiences, instead of hearing it secondhand and all that.
Okay.
And so it's just nice to have the information straight from the person that's had the experience, and then we can sort of strip it down a bit, and we can get more detail that way as well. We can talk about individual pieces of it. I'm not going to try and debunk it for you. That's not what it's about. It's more about sort of, it's just more about just hearing the stories and trying to get the full story. Because I want to hear the full story, and I want to try and get all the details because it helps me with my own case notes and my own research. So the more I can learn from you, the further I can, grow in my research. Really. So
sounds really good to me, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can hear bits and pieces of a story. I mean, you could put a message online about it and post your story, but you don't get the full detail. You don't get the full detail of what's going on and what happened and how you felt, and just all the little details that kind of do mean a lot when you're trying to piece all the information together. So I won't get too personal with it.
Yeah.
don't worry.
No, that's okay. No,
yeah.
No, that's totally fine. No, that's all good.
Yeah, and you can say as much as you want or as little as you want. It's as long as you're happy with saying what you want to say. I mean, I've spoken to a lot of people in the past, alien abductees. I've spoken to a couple in the past, and the stories that they tell me are just amazing, absolutely amazing. But I swore to keep it private for them, so I have to keep it all to myself, which is quite frustrating because you've got all this information that you'd love to share because it's amazing stories. And
oh yeah, I'd love to share my stories with other people for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me about. Okay, so the experience you're telling me about. Okay, the experience you've had. Whereabouts were you living at the time?
Well, being dairy farmers, we seem to move every year. So we do live in different houses. So yeah, we tend to move around a lot because my husband gets itchy feet.
Oh, okay. That could be annoying, couldn't it? Or do you enjoy it?
It does get really annoying, actually. Yeah, it does. You're sort of comfortable in one place, and you got to move again. So yeah.
Yeah. So the story,
you come across lovely owners.
Yeah. Okay. So the story you're going to tell me, where was this based in? Is that where you are now?
Well, in Pyro. No. Well, I've lived in quite a few houses that the owners do own, that we work for, and I've come across a lot of experiences in different houses. Well, the house we're in now, I did hear footsteps outside our bedroom window. Sorry, this would have been about 1 o'clock in the morning. And I didn't really want to go outside and have a look. No. And then a few weeks ago, my daughter came and stayed, and she heard some footsteps outside her bedroom window, and I was actually pacing backwards and forwards. And I actually saw a black shadow in the garage when I was having a beer at night.
In the same place?
In the same place we're in now, yeah. We've only been here since June this year.
Right, okay. And do you live next to anybody? Are there any neighbours?
No, there's no neighbours around us. No, there's not. There's no houses around us. We just got all paddocks around our house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the chances that it could be.
That's the only experience I've actually had at this house so far.
So, okay. Previous experience then.
Okay, the one in Pyro, I actually experienced more land experiences, really. My best friend in Wellington, she lost her son in a car accident 2 years ago, and I was actually out on the farm in a paddock putting the fence up for the calves that day, and I had this overwhelming feeling come over me, and was actually this his son Dakota. He was actually coming to me for help. He was very lost. He was lost. He needed help to get to the other side. Because I actually saw him. He was actually in a dark room. He was sitting down with his legs up, and he had his head. He had both his hands on top of his head, and he was looking down. And he just needed help to get. He needed help to get to the other side, and I actually helped him to get over to the other side, because I actually told him that his granddad and his sister were waiting for him, and I actually told him to go to see the light, and he saw the light, and I actually saw him walk into the light and go up to heaven to meet his granddad and his sister.
Wow. So you saw a bright light, or?
And when that happened,
was the light in the sky?
Yeah,
or
I actually helped him. Yeah, because it was actually, how spirits talk to me. They actually, it's really hard to explain. They actually, it sounds like your own voice in your head. That the spirits are talking to you. I'm a bit nervous at the moment.
It's all right. It's only me.
Yeah, I know.
It's only me. Yeah.
I know. And I helped him to the other side. He was so lost, and he was so confused. He didn't know what happened to him. And when he crossed over, I actually cried. And all that day, I had to milk that afternoon, and I had a really, really bad headache. I couldn't concentrate on work. I nearly cut the penicillin cowl that afternoon. And 2 songs came on the radio that day, Stairway to Heaven and Knocking on Heaven's Door.
Wow.
And I actually went home, and I just went straight to bed. I was just all my energy, used up all my energy. I was so tired and withdrawn and really upset and really sad. But other than that, I felt really happy that I actually did help him to the other side.
And so.
And that's my ever first.
How old did you say he was?
I don't.
How old was he?
Pardon?
How old was he?
He was 18 years old. 18 years old. Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Wow.
I've never met him before, and I actually don't know why he chose me to help him cross over.
That's interesting.
And I've never done that before, and it's my first time I've actually helped someone cross over. Because he was so sad. He just didn't know what to do. He didn't know where to go, and he was in this very dark place. And I saw him in a very dark place, and I was so overwhelmed and so happy that I helped him cross over.
I think it must be a huge relief to them. I mean, I don't fully understand it myself. I mean, I fully admit that. But we have had investigations in the past where we have come across what appear to be children, and when they tell you that they're scared and then they're lost as well, and there's nothing you can do. I mean, what can you do when you've got some spirit saying that he's scared and he doesn't know where he is? We did an investigation out in New Lynn in a private house, and we had this 10-year-old boy apparently talking to us. And he said there were people around him, and he didn't know who they were, and he was scared and didn't know where he was. And we couldn't see him, but we were communicating with taps. It was quite frustrating. It was quite frustrating, and it's quite sad because you don't know who's on the other side. And we didn't know if we were in fact communicating with anybody, but it did feel like it. It did feel like you could actually feel the emotion, and you could feel the loss, and you could feel that even though we didn't really understand it at the time, there is that sort of sense of, you must help this person. You've got to help them somehow. But I guess he's lucky that you were there.
Well, he must have came to me just to help him cross over, just to help him out, and because he actually died in a car accident. He actually got thrown out of the car and broke his neck, so he died instantly. But he just didn't know where he was at, and he was just lost. And I feel really proud of myself helping this little young lad over, and knowing that he's up in heaven with his granddad and his sister. Because after I did that, I actually dreamt about him, and he was actually happy up in heaven. He was working up in heaven, and he was with his best mate that also died as well.
Cool.
Because I got hold of his mother, I got hold of his mother saying, "Is he up in heaven with his best mate?" And she goes, "Yes, he actually died in a car accident as well." So knowing that he's up there with his best mate, because I've seen them up in heaven. Fair dinkum, I really, really saw them up in heaven.
That's
I really,
cool.
really did.
And did you say he was working? Really did you say he was working up there?
He was working. Yeah, because he was working in the Chatham Islands. He was a fisherman.
Right.
And he often laid pipes in the ground as well for a job. And I actually seen him working with his best mate, just laying down pipes to be buried in the ground.
Right.
Yeah, it was just absolutely amazing just seeing him up there happy as Larry. Really, really happy.
Doing what he loves. Yeah, that's awesome. I have to say that it's a bit disappointing though, knowing that I'm going to have to be working when I go up to heaven, when I die. There's no escaping it. No escaping work.
I reckon there is such a place as heaven up there. There is heaven. I do believe in it now because I've actually seen him up in heaven. I've seen quite a few people that I've lost up in heaven. Yeah, I really have. And my animals. My mum and dad came to me asking for help, and I actually helped them, and my animals come and see me now and again from heaven, and it's just absolutely beautiful up there. It really, really is. Yeah.
That's cool. That's really nice. And
it is really cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that I'm learning about all the time. I don't fully understand it, and I have my sort of belief. I'm not a religious person, but I still have my sort of little, I guess, beliefs and the way the world works and what's beyond, and I have my thoughts and ideas, and it's just interesting hearing from other people, their thoughts and ideas and beliefs and faiths and all that. It's it just shows that there's a lot more out there than we.
Yeah, I'm not religious. Yeah, I'm not religious either, actually.
Okay, well, that's interesting then.
Yeah, I never have been not religious at all, no. I swear like a trooper, so.
That's awesome. So it's still obviously still an emotional thing for you then, when you think back of what you did and what happened and this little boy.
Yeah, it was very emotional that day. I just broke down in tears. Yeah, it was just really. He just used up all my energy, and I was absolutely exhausted all day until bedtime. Really, I just had a massive headache. I couldn't concentrate at all when I helped him over. Yeah.
That's the interesting thing about spirits and all that, and dealing with ghosts and all that kind of realm. It's we found it ourselves. We were doing an investigation, and we will actually feel quite drained and tired afterwards. Very, very quickly, you'll start feeling drained, and at the same time, your equipment is draining at the same time you are as well. So there's like something there that is draining energy of the equipment and of the team members. So we're all feeling drained. It's quite unusual, and I actually quite love it. I actually love experiencing it because it's something outside of my understanding, and I love experiencing things that I don't understand, because it means that I'm on the right track with my research and what I'm doing.
Oh, so do I.
It's that mystery, and it's
I love it. It is like, it's amazing. So it's an awesome feeling, and I love it. I really do love it.
Oh, that's good. And you're doing good things with it, obviously. You're doing good things and helping people move on, so that's a good thing. So that's...
it was an absolutely amazing experience. It was amazing. It blew my mind.
Yeah. So how did you actually help him over? Is there sort of a technique to this? This is something I'm learning too as well. Like, how did you direct him over?
Well, this is my first time I've ever done it in my whole life. I've never ever helped anyone to cross over. That was my very first time, and I actually did it all by myself. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. Yeah. So he actually came to me. He actually came to me for help.
Yeah.
And he needed help, to cross over, and that's what I did.
Yeah. And you just sort of automatically figured out how to do it, kind of thing. It just came naturally at the time.
Yeah. Well, I did actually. Yeah, I did. I don't know how I did it, but I just found the right words and explained to him, go granddad and your sister away and a few at the other side. And before I said that, as I said to you before, that he was just sitting in a dark room, a really dark room all by himself, and just looked lost and just didn't know where to go. And that's when I helped him over.
So that's interesting. It's interesting that you should say dark room, because the young boy that I was talking to about before, the 10-year-old, he said that the place that he was in was completely dark and he couldn't see where he was. It was all just black and dark. But he could feel that there were people there. He knew there were people there with him. Yeah.
They just needed help to get. They just need help to get to the other side. Really, that's what it's all about, I think. And you do feel a lot better, because you know that he's gone to the other side, and you do feel it that he's gone, and it's just overwhelming feeling to know that you've helped him cross over. And I didn't really want him to stay in that dark place, that horrid place that he was in, because he was stuck. Yeah.
Okay.
So now I know he's in a better place now.
And does he keep in touch? Like, is he able to keep in touch? Have you heard from him again since then?
Often I do call him, but no, he hasn't come to me. Geez, probably about a year now. So I presume that he's really happy up in heaven. I think he is really happy up there, because he hasn't come back for help at all. So. Cause I've actually seen him up there with his best mate and his granddad and his sister and his other family members that had passed on, like his grandma and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just wondering what would happen if you move house again. Would he still be able to find you if he needed you?
I don't understand how they find you though. It's just out of this world. I question myself till this day and just wonder how he actually found me and why he chose me. It's just I still don't understand it really.
Okay.
No, why did he choose me?
That's the only thing you've experienced at the place you're at now? Or the other place, sorry?
This was in Paranormal. This happened 2 years ago, and this was in Paranormal when we were dairy farming in Paranormal. I had more land experience there. Often when I get the cows off the feed pad on the side by side, I could sense someone sitting beside me, and could hear whistling, like a person whistling beside me. And I often get white mists going in front of the side by side, and I could definitely feel something was always there with me.
Okay, that's interesting.
Because sometimes when I whistle to get the cows off the feed pad, probably about a minute or two later, something would whistle beside me. It's like sitting beside me in the bobcat. And, we call it the side by side, but it's really called the bobcat. Yeah.
So somebody is actually working there beside you. Somebody's actually rounding up the cows with you.
Yeah, I feel a presence beside me, because when I whistled to get the cows off the feed pad, I could hear something beside me whistling back at me. Yeah.
That's neat.
So that was that experience. I've got another one here. We dairy farm in Tikawata, and sometimes earlier this morning we get this knocking on our bedroom window. And because we lived on, was it Reed Road, and it was like a 5K road, no 5Ks to get to our house, and we were the only house on that road. And because the knocking would wake us up, and we'll open the curtain, but there'll be no one there. And this would happen around about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Wow. And I actually went outside one night to have a cigarette, probably around about 9 o'clock at night, and I saw this apparition appear in front of my eyes, probably about 2 meters away from me. Looked like a little child. Presuming it would have been a little girl. She probably stood there for about 5 seconds and disappeared. And
see it quite clearly?
And one of the rooms in the house was... Pardon?
You could see it quite clearly?
Yes, I could actually. She was quite a little child, maybe around about 4 or 5 years old. Oh. She stood there for about 5 seconds, and then she just disappeared. And one of the rooms in the house was very cold. And I'm just looking at my notes here.
Oh, it's good that you're keeping notes. It's great.
Yeah. But yeah, always had knocks on our bedroom windows at early hours in the morning. I was quite scared to open the curtains because I was quite scared sometimes. And sometimes there would be knocking at my daughter's window when she was... This was probably about 8 years ago, when she would have been about 12 years old at the time. She would also get knocking on her bedroom window early hours in the morning, and she didn't really want to sleep in her bedroom, so she would sometimes come and sleep in our bed. And one night we're going to Pukekohe to do some food shopping, and I happened to look at the cow shed on the way past, and I saw it was complete darkness, and I looked at the cow shed, and there were these bright lights, like eyeballs, and I saw them running away. They would have been about 7 feet tall. They looked like some strange animal thing. I don't know what they were. That was quite freaky. I don't know what they were. 4 or 5 of them.
What's 4 or 5, 7 foot tall?
Just running away.
4 or 5,
7 feet tall, and they're running away.
Wow.
Yeah.
4 or 5 of them. I'd be freaking out if I saw one.
It was complete dark. Yeah, because it was complete darkness, because all that road was all, complete darkness. We were driving past, and all I saw these things just running away from the cow shed. And I don't know what the hell they were.
And they were tall?
That was really, really creepy. Very, very tall, yeah. Probably about 7 feet tall.
Interesting. And what time would that have been?
There would have been about 8 o'clock at night.
Okay. And is it quite an open piece of land?
That's what I saw.
Is it quite an open piece of land? Like, are there other properties around?
No, just a cow shed. There was just a cow shed on our road, and our house at the very end of the road. And our road was about 5 k's long, and we're only a house on that road at the very end.
And is there forest or bush around there?
No, it's just a dairy farm.
So it's just open paddocks?
Just open paddocks, yeah. Open paddocks.
Okay. It's interesting. How long?
Just knocking that got to us.
Yeah. Do you think it might have been the same entities knocking?
It could have been, yeah, I'd say so, yeah. I think so.
How high is the windows? The windows in the house?
Pardon?
How high were the windows in the house that they were knocking on?
Jeez.
The standard height for a window?
Yeah, pretty much that, yeah. Yep. Okay. Pretty much that, yep.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Very interesting, quite scary actually. Just, hearing those knocking noises on your window early hours in the morning and waking you up. It's got quite loud bangs as well. Really loud bangs, and sometimes my husband would get out of bed and look out the window where there'll be no one out there. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'm just quite fascinated by these big creatures now.
Yeah, and I don't know what they were. Yeah, because my daughter saw them as well, but I just tend to, because when we were driving past, I just happened to look at the cow shed, and that's what I saw. I just saw these things running away, because all
Were they running away
their eyeballs were lit up.
Right, so red eyes?
No, the white eyes.
White glowing. Oh. And were they standing upright, or were they on
white
legs?
glowing eyes.
Yeah, 4 legs, 2 legs.
They were standing up.
So 2 legs.
It was quite dark, really, but it looked like to me they were actually running away.
Right. And could you get any details about the body, like what they look like, or are they just black shadows?
Just pretty much black shadows with white eyes. Yeah.
That's interesting. It's
they
really
looked to me about 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
It was quite scary. I just happened to look at the cow shed when we were driving past, and that's what I saw. My daughter remembered that as well.
Okay, that's a subject I'd really like to dig a bit deeper on, because that's something that really fascinates me in my research, is mysterious creatures. And I mean, the fact that there was no forest or bush or anywhere they could hide. They were just kind of out there in open paddock land.
Yeah, open paddock land, yep.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, would there be caves, or are there caves anywhere around there, or anything like that on the property anywhere?
No caves. No, just open paddocks everywhere. Just like a flat dairy farm land.
Okay. That's interesting. Because I've got folders and folders of newspaper clippings and case files of various UFO sightings around the country through many decades. So I might have to dig through those. If you can, do you know what year it was?
Oh well, would have been early 2000, maybe. Probably would have been about 8-9 years ago.
Okay, so
this was actually in Wairanga. No, not that long ago at all. No.
At Wairanga. Okay.
Wairanga, yeah.
I'll do some research.
Water area, I think it is.
You never know. There might have been some UFO sightings around the same time that we can maybe, piece together something. Maybe.
Yeah, because I remember talking to you about that orb I seen as well in Otrahonga. Just floating in the sky.
Yeah.
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 It was actually beautiful. It was actually like a soft white colour, but it was actually sort of pulsating at the same time, and it was just floating above the treetops. And I actually hopped out of my car to have a look, and it was really silent, like a beautiful round ball.
How big do you reckon it was?
Yeah. Probably
like a football?
Smaller than a soccer ball.
Soccer ball size, yeah?
Yeah, smaller than a soccer ball.
Okay.
But not as small. Not. You're probably the same size as a soccer ball, I think. Yeah. That would have been about 7 years ago when I saw that.
And what time of the night was that?
Probably 9 or 10, I think it was. I was actually coming back home with tea that night, actually.
Was it raining, do you think? Do you remember if it was raining or if it was clear skies?
No, it wasn't.
Just clear?
It was clear skies. Clear skies, yeah, it wasn't raining, no.
That's interesting.
All these things all these things I'll never forget.
Yeah. Oh, I'm actually quite jealous. That's awesome. I'm quite tempted to jump in the car and do a road trip now down that way.
No, it's awesome. I love experiencing these things that I see and hear and feel, and it's really, really, really cool. I love it.
Well, it's good that you're documenting them a bit. You're writing them down. It's good to keep things like dates and times and anything that you see, whether it's a ghost thing or some sort of creature or something unusual. Anything that's unusual, just document it somehow.
Well, Josh Carroll told me to write.
Yep.
Josh Carroll told me to write down all my stuff that I experienced and seen and all that sort of stuff. Yeah,
It's,
and
it's very,
that's what I've been doing now. So
it's quite important, really, to do.
because
People,
he
a lot of
actually
people
did
don't-
too. It is very important.
Hmm.
Because he actually did 2 investigations at my house out in T-Rail, another dairy farm we worked at.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because the house got moved there, and apparently it was an old police station, but they added more onto it. And my husband and I lived in there, and my daughter as well, and we were working on that dairy farm for about 2 years. And Alicia and I, my daughter Alicia, we've seen quite a few things in that house in T-Rail. And that's when I decided to get Josh Carroll out and his, was it Paranormal Hamilton or something? Can't remember what the
Midnight
name was
Paranormal.
now.
Midnight.
Paranormal, that's right. Yeah, Midnight Paranormal Hamilton. I actually got him out twice. The first night it was pretty quiet, but the second night, one of the investigators left the camera on my dining room table and it lit up. And then they started asking questions, and then there was this loud thump in the hallway. And when Josh went home to look at the video evidence, when that big thump happened, his whole tripod camera shook.
He did actually mention something about his tripod. Yeah.
Yeah, because he had the tripod down the hallway, and when that big thump happened, the whole camera shook.
I think he was quite excited about that from memory.
He was very excited, yeah.
He did mention it to me. I do remember him talking about a thump, and he couldn't figure it out, and he was quite excited by it. So, yeah.
No, I couldn't figure it out either actually, no.
Yeah.
And he actually saw an orb in the kitchen that night as well. He witnessed the orb in the kitchen.
Ah, okay. It's always a very promising thing when people like Josh witness an orb.
He's a really cool guy. He's a really cool guy. Really cool. Because when they picked up and left, I actually saw a beautiful purple blue aura by the fireplace, just floating in midair inside the house.
Oh.
And then the next morning I was coming home from milking, and as I was coming into the driveway, I saw a big red blob inside the house, but I could see it from outside. It was just floating.
I'm quite jealous because
like an orb?
I've been hearing about orbs for so many years, and I've been doing this for over 40-something years now, and I have never ever seen a spirit orb. And so many people have told me that they're real, and being the skeptically minded person I am,
it's like a
they never happen when I'm around, which is annoying. So I want to see one.
Would it be an aura or an orb? Because it's quite a big thing, like a floating.
That would be more of an orb, really, I suppose, if it's a big circular thing.
It was really, really big, like a beautiful red blue colour, just floating.
And how big was that? About a soccer ball size again, or bigger?
Oh, more. Oh, probably bigger than a soccer ball. It was quite big actually. It was really big. Beautiful. It was just like a calming sensation.
And what were you doing at the time when it happened?
When Josh and his investigation team all packed up and went home, that's when I seen it.
Oh, right.
In the lounge.
Right, so it was straight after that.
Yeah.
Maybe they stirred something up.
Yeah, in front of the fireplace. Pardon?
Maybe they stirred something up.
I think they did, but it was so beautiful. It really was.
Yeah.
And often I'll come home from work and I could hear like ladies talking to each other, like a conversation, and inside the house when I come home from work. And this was in T-Rail.
It's in T-Rail as well.
And during the summer months, we would have our front door open, and I saw a black ball come from outside and just go straight down the hallway, like really, really fast.
A black ball.
A black ball.
Okay.
Well, it came from the outside inside the house, like it went right past down the hallway. And this was during the day.
Wow. And was it kind of fuzzy on the edges, or was it quite a sharp black?
It was quite misty, but a round ball.
Yeah.
And even when I was feeding the calves that day, I saw a black mass on the highway. I don't know what the hell that was.
Yeah, there's definitely something in it. I mean, we've seen enough black masses and shadows and in the shape of people now to know that there's definitely something there. But the trick is to figure out who they are or what they are and go from there. I mean, I'm quite a
black masses,
but I've seen them.
Are they bad though? The black masses, the black mist.
I have no idea, to be honest. I'm told black is bad when it comes to the spirit world. I don't know, but I really don't know. I'm still learning, and I haven't really experienced enough to sort of find out the details. And I've seen them. I've seen them myself, but I have no idea what they are.
Yeah, I don't feel threatened by them though. I feel quite peaceful, and I never feel threatened when I do see black mist and stuff like that. Yeah.
I've seen grey mists. I've seen a grey mist, and I've seen shadow type people, and we've seen child-size shadows.
Yeah.
Your hands
my
covering
brother,
the
he lives in Wanganui, and oh shit, sorry.
That's all right.
My brother lives in Wanganui, and he's got shadow people at his house, and actually I fell asleep on his couch and woke up, and I saw this shadow person walk across his lounge floor, and he had no head.
Wow.
You could see his legs, you could see his body, and you could see his arms, but you couldn't see his head.
And where was that?
In Wanganui.
That was in Wanganui. Okay.
This was this year. It would have been February this year when it happened, when I saw it.
Okay. It sounds like we need to have a road trip down your way.
It was
Doesn't it?
We actually just moved from Wanganui back to the Waikato in June this year.
Right.
And the house we moved from in Wanganui, they had spirits there as well.
Are they following you or something? Is it the same spirits or completely different ones?
No, I don't think. No, they are different ones. Different ones. I don't know. I don't know whether they're waiting for me, or do I track them, or do they know that I'm spiritual, or just
maybe ghosts are everywhere. Perhaps ghosts are just everywhere, but you're able to pick up on them, and they're just there anyway.
You
so
may.
Maybe they're already there, and
Yeah.
And you're able to see them.
I think they are too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've got one here.
Because in Wanganui,
That's right, you Karen.
Wow. Oh, sorry. No,
so
you can continue.
This is your show.
Yeah, the house we just moved from in Wanganui, it was like a 100-year-old homestead, and my husband grew up with his primary school friend. Oh God. We moved to Wanganui last year, and my husband decided to work with his best mate that he grew up with from primary school.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually owned a dairy farm, and he owned a 100-year-old homestead villa, and his dad passed away quite a few years ago. And I was coming home one night, and I was coming up the driveway, and I seen his dad inside our dining room looking out the window facing the driveway. He was looking out the driveway, and he had an oilskin long coat on, and he had an oilskin hat on, and he was probably around about 6 feet tall. He's quite a tall old guy. I've seen him probably about once or twice looking out the window, looking towards the driveway. And one of my friends seen him as well. We also would get 3 knocks at the front door late at night, and my husband would get up off his chair and go straight to the front door, and there'll be no one out there again. So time and time again, we'll get 3 knocks at the front door. We'll rush out there, open the door, and there's no one out there. And the dairy farm had security cameras all around the house and the dairy farm, and we actually told them to look on the security cameras, but they didn't find anything because we had random knocks on their front door. And it would always be 3 knocks.
Right. And nothing was showing up on the cameras?
3 knocks. No, nothing at all. No, because we actually told the owners what was happening. We were getting these 3 knocks on the door late at night, and they actually checked the security cameras, but there was nothing on there. They couldn't find anything because they had a camera at the driveway and they had a camera by our garage, because the security camera that's was at the driveway would face to the front of our house, will face the front door as well. And they checked through that, but they couldn't find anything. They couldn't find any prowlers around or nothing. Because, if there was prowlers around, our dogs will just nut off. They're going really nutty. There was someone around the house.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
And my daughter took a selfie at that house in Wanganui, and you could see a half man's face in the background.
Wow.
And I actually took a video of the house inside one night, and I actually saw a shadow person in there as well. And I've still got the video as well. I just took a random video one night and recorded it, and then stopped it, and then I jumped in bed because I was tired, and I looked at the video and I saw the shadow person there as well in the video.
But you don't get scared. You don't get scared by these shadow people. You don't get scared by them.
Oh no, not really.
Pardon? It's good. It's good that you don't feel scared.
Yeah. No, I don't feel scared at all. No. But the house in Wanganui, our bedroom, there was a door that you could walk out to the balcony, and I was actually closing that one night. As I closed it, a white face appeared on the outside looking back at me.
Wow.
And I actually closed the curtain pretty quick. I was actually quite scared of that, actually. Just a complete white face just looking back at me from the outside. Yeah. So I quickly hopped in bed, and then I just happened to look on my husband's side, but he was still watching TV at the time, and I saw a shadow person on his side of the bed standing with no head.
So you could see the shoulders of the shadow, but no head.
Yeah, because you could see his whole body, but you couldn't see his head.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Could you see arms? Yep.
I saw arms and his legs and his body, but there was no head. Might have been cut off. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
But this is the same thing. This is the same thing that I saw at my brother's house, like that person walking across the lounge floor with no head.
Yeah. So that's 2 headless ghosts that you've seen.
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting. Wow.
And the house in T-Rail, and the house in T-Rail, I was actually in bed, just really tired again from milking and dairy farm and stuff like that. My husband was watching TV, and I could hear some deep breathing beside me in the bed, but he wasn't in bed.
Oh.
And that really freaked me out a little bit.
Yeah, I bet.
It freaked me out. Yeah.
And so he wasn't even in the room.
And No, I was actually in the lounge watching TV, and I heard this deep breathing beside me, so I don't know what the hell that was. And it was quite weird because we had 2 dogs at the time, and they would end up in a paddock, and we don't know how they got in there. Like we went around the paddocks, all the fences, we checked all the fences, no holes. There's no holes that they could get into the paddock, and every time, like we didn't know they were in the paddock at night, but when we wake up early in the morning ready for work and that, the dogs will just sit by this tree absolutely petrified. We don't know how they got in there. Like, we checked all the fences and all the gates and everything, but we just don't know till this day how they got into the paddock.
Right.
Interior.
Okay.
You must think I'm crazy.
No, I'm totally fascinated by this. This is great. I really appreciate you telling me these stories. It's just great. I'm just keen to actually head out that way and see for myself what's out there, because there's so many things, so many factors of your stories that just fascinate me, and that I'm interested in personally myself. So I'm keen to learn more. Well, that's great.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, it's pretty gobsmacked how they. I'm just pretty gobsmacked how they ended up in that paddock, because every time it happened, wouldn't happen every night, but it happened every so often. And when they are in that paddock, wake up the next morning, they're in that paddock by that same tree, and they just look absolutely just petrified for some odd reason. I'm not too sure. And I'm pretty sure they're in that paddock all night, because I just can't get back out.
Yeah.
They just can't get out.
I'd be interested to know if there were any sort of UFO sightings those same nights. To see if there's any sort of lights in the sky.
Yeah, because because in Wanganui, I saw this bright light. It might have been like a planet, and I could see it coming down, and it'll go straight across and stop in mid-air, and then go backwards, then go forwards, and then stop, go back down, and they'll go towards, because we could see the ocean from our house in Wanganui. They go towards, I don't know what, either was south, I think it was south it went, and it turned into a red colour, and it went quite low, then it disappeared.
I guess it's the kind of area that you wouldn't have
one.
neighbours with drones, would you? You wouldn't have neighbours that have drones and close by, would you?
Yeah, well, I was actually talking to the astronomy people about it in Wanganui when I saw it, and they asked if it was a drone, but I said no, I don't think it could have been, because it was quite, like, really, really, really high in the sky, like really. It looked like a big planet, like Jupiter or Venus or something like that, but
yeah, that's right.
Just seeing it just coming down, like it was still a bright light, still coming down and moving and stopping in mid-air, just slowly go down and just hover, like.
And no flash lights. No flash lights on everything, just one colour.
Like it was pulsating a little bit.
But all one colour.
Yeah, it was just a bright white light at first, but when it sort of headed south towards the beach, it just turned like a pale red colour. You could see it just stopping in mid-air. It wasn't a plane, or because if you knew it was a plane, it'd be like those little lights you see flickering and.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no, I believe you didn't see a drone or anything like that. It just doesn't sound like a drone or a plane. So, yeah.
No, I don't think it was a drone. No. It was just It was just so far up and high in the sky. Yeah.
It's fascinating. All right, is that it? Or it sounds like.
And I've got another story.
I bet you have.
This was in Otaronga when it happened. My daughter would have been about 13 years old. She stayed at her best friend's house one night, and I picked her up the following morning, and her best friend's mum was on the couch holding her baby on her lap, and I saw another lady beside her. She was wearing a t-shirt, jeans, and some running shoes, and she waved with a big smile on her face. I didn't really take much notice of that. And then I happened to look back again, and she was gone. She was just disappeared. And then I thought nothing about it until the next day. I actually spoke to my daughter's best friend's mother about it, and she said to me, "Oh, that would have been my sister that died in a car accident, 20 years ago." And I actually saw this photo on her TV cabinet. I said, "That's the lady I saw." And she goes, "Yes, that's my sister that died in a car accident 20 years ago."
Wow.
And she looked like a real human being. She had t-shirt, jeans, running shoes, sitting there happily, waving and smiling. And she looked like a real person. But it was actually her sister that passed away. She looks exactly like the person I saw in the photo, sitting next to her on the couch.
But had you seen her a bit before that, though? Had you seen what she looked like before that?
No.
No.
No. Because she told me that her sister will turn off the TV and turn it off again, and be things like things missing or things getting moved in her house and stuff. So that was really cool.
I think so.
It was really cool. Just how do ghosts look like real people sometimes?
Well, they were supposed to be real people, weren't they, at one point? So
they were.
Yeah.
It was just absolutely amazing that she looked so real. Just looked like a human being, just like you and me. Yeah. Amazing.
And it's good that she was wearing modern day clothing as well. That's something that a lot of people don't describe, is modern day clothing on ghosts. They look like
80s. Look like 80s clothing to me, really. Yeah.
But we have a crazy cat lady ghost at our house. The house that we have here it's a 1980s house, and my wife and I have both seen her at different times. And she's wearing what looks like 70s or 80s type clothing as well. She's wearing a red top and those white sort of long slack pants. And she's got white sort of bushy, curly hair.
Yeah.
And we've both seen the same character. Bright red shirt. And we've looked at pictures of fashions and all that, and it looks to be sort of mid-70s, late sort of 70s fashion that she's wearing. And she was a crazy cat lady. So, yeah, we've both seen her. And
well, that's amazing.
Yeah, but most of the ghosts that you do hear about, they're always sort of wearing, old colonial style clothing or Victorian clothing or that kind of thing. So it's always refreshing to hear of modern day clothing ghosts. Yeah, because my very first experience when I was 16 years old, I was actually sleeping in the dining room that night, and I happened to look up, and there was this old man, had a top hat on, and he had a 1930s suit on. Like he had a vest on, and you could see all his facial features, like his eyes were grey. You could see all his skin, his wrinkles, and I was actually petrified, and I hid under my blankets for about a few seconds, and I actually popped back up, and he'd gone. Yeah. Where was that?
That was my first ever experience. That was in Palmerston North. I was only 16 years old at the time when it happened. That was my first ever experience. Yeah.
Did you see him again?
My brother told me about that. He often sit on the couch and watch. Pardon?
Did you see him again at all, or just the one time?
No, just that one time. Because you could see the buttons on his shirt, and you see the top hat and his vest and his cool looking suit on, and his eyes were grey. He was just staring at me. It was really, really spooky. For a first experience when you're quite that young.
Yeah. How long was he there for?
I don't know, I had back under my blankets. I was just absolutely petrified. But
Yeah.
sometimes I actually told my brother about that, and he would, when I was sitting on that couch watching TV, he could feel someone coming up behind him and tapping him on the shoulder. He would turn around and be no one there. So I'm picking that would have been the old man that I saw, maybe.
Okay.
But that was my first ever ghost experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, things that I'll never forget.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's not something you would forget,
You know,
really.
it's,
So out of the
amazing
norm.
stuff.
You just don't forget them. Yeah. They become quite.
No, you never do. No.
Yeah. I think anybody that experiences that kind of activity or that kind of have those sort of encounters, I think they're quite privileged, and they're quite rare. I mean, what we've seen through our investigations is that paranormal activity, actual genuine paranormal activity that cannot be explained by any sort of rational thinking, is very rare. So if you are experiencing something, you're very privileged, and it's not something you take lightly. I think you're very lucky.
Yeah, my daughter's a little bit spiritual too, but I reckon that the more older you get, the more spiritual you become, maybe?
Yeah.
I'm not too sure.
Then they say children experience lots, don't they? So. I don't really know.
Yeah, because I remember when Alicia would have been about 5 years old, and she told me that she could see fairies in the corner.
Was she able to
She goes,
describe
Mum,
them?
look, there's fairies in the corner. She goes, Mum, look in the corner, there's fairies in that corner. She was pointing to a corner.
Wow.
And she was having a bath with their Auntie Cindy when she was 5 years old, and she told her Auntie Cindy she could see fairies in the bathroom as well.
It's interesting because I've
And the house
in Scotland, and they're very spiritual as well, and that they're very into their fairies, and they swear that they've what they've seen as fairies. There are so many stories from Scotland and Ireland about fairies. It's incredible. It's part of their culture, and there's just so many stories of sightings and locations that allegedly have fairies living in them. It's amazing. It's really good. I love it.
It's amazing. It would be, be really cool, all right? Be
I don't
really cool
understand it.
to see something like that, for sure.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I haven't
Awesome.
seen one myself, but wow.
Really awesome.
I like the idea. I like the idea.
Why?
I like the idea of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so do I. Sounds really interesting.
Hmm.
Because the house in Wairinga, Alicia woke up to a child saying, "Do you want to play with me?" But she never saw that child.
Just a voice.
Just the voice saying, "Do you want to play with me?" Like a little child's voice.
We could talk all night, couldn't we?
And plus, oh yeah, for sure. So, probably would have been about 4 years ago, when we were living in the Waikato. Alicia and I went out for lunch, and we went to the Te Amutu Rose Gardens, and we pulled up, and there was a convertible car beside us, and she saw an old man's face in the side mirror, but there was no one in the car.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Tika Waterhouse. Did you end up going to Wellington that time and seeing that? What's his name? The guy from Strange Occurrences.
Names.
In
I
Wellington.
was supposed to go and see him, but lockdown happened.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Lockdown happened, and I had to cancel all our flights and everything, and yeah. But
Did you end up going on his website and seeing my photo at all?
I think I have seen it. I'm sure I have. I go there often, so yeah, I'm sure I have seen it. I'll go and look again though.
Yeah, Ghost in the Kitchen. Yeah.
He's very good at his work. Yeah, he's very good
I
at
remember-
photo analysis.
Yeah, because he said to me that's the most uncanny photo he's ever seen.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
For James to say that, that's something.
he did. Yeah, it's on the write-up on his website. Because the photo's been there for probably 8 or 9 years now. It's quite amazing that it's still on there. Because you can see different faces as well, but it looks more like a little girl, but you can see like another face poking its tongue out as well. Yeah, I can see 2 faces in that photo for sure. Yeah, that was in Tikawata, because I did sense something in the bathroom in that Tikawata house on another dairy farm we moved to. Because my husband normally gets up at 4 a.m. in the morning to go for the cows, and I actually grabbed his cell phone one time and there was a recording there, and I could hear children saying, he's coming, and then I heard them running like on a wooden floor, like they sounded really, really scared. I actually told Josh Carroll about that as well, but I couldn't find the phone. I think we chucked it out years ago, but I actually heard this recording of these terrified children saying, he's coming. I could hear them running away and trying to hide from this person.
Wow.
Because can't spirits try and talk through cell phones or something? I'm not too sure.
Well, that's one of the theories.
I
mean, there's EVPs, you know, that's often voices and sounds that are somehow transmitted onto phones and recording devices. So you don't hear them with your ears at the time, but somehow they get on the electrical equipment and electronics. They
that's the one. Yep.
Yeah. So anything that records audio, like a phone or a tape recorder or whatever, they seem to be able to manipulate it and put little imprints of speech or whatever. Yeah, it's quite a fascinating subject. It's something I'm getting quite into at the moment.
They had me around about 2:30 in the morning. That happened.
And you haven't got that recording now? It's a shame.
No, we should chuck that phone away years ago. Yeah, it's like a flip phone. You just close and open and stuff. Those old phones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a shame. Yeah.
It is a shame. Yeah. And you know, in this Otahuanga house we used to live in, I saw this big black mass coming from the hallway into the dining room, it wasn't shaped, it was just like a misty, floaty thing. I didn't feel threatened about it though. You know, because my cat passed away, and I actually she died of cancer, and had to put her to sleep. And the next day, I actually heard my cat coughing, because she used to cough a lot because she had throat cancer. She used to cough a lot, and when I put her down the next day, I could hear my cat, or the cat that passed away, coughing in the lounge.
Wow.
So I do believe that our animals do stay with us in spirit for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I believe that.
Yeah.
I totally believe that. I'm sure I've seen our cat, my old Kelpie. I had her for 20 years, and she passed away just a couple of years ago. And I'm sure she's still around. You can just feel it, can't you?
Oh, of course they are. They definitely are.
Yeah. All right, Lois.
It's really cool that they're still around. Yeah.
I really appreciate you sharing all this with me. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. It really is. It's a lot more than I thought there'd be. Yeah, I have to say I'm quite jealous that you're experiencing all these things. Because I'm always living in hope.
I'm sorry I didn't talk that very well. I'm sorry that I didn't really talk that very clear, because I get really nervous sometimes about my stories.
No, it's only me. It's only me. We're mates. It's just about just getting the information and the stories, and hearing it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. Hearing it from your words as you saw it. So I really appreciate that, and one day we'll get to meet face to face, and I'll be able to hear more stories, I'm sure. And you can show us around some of these places.
Hopefully.
That would be great. I mean, I'd really love to.
That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd really love to go and check out some of those places.
So, are you skeptic?
Well, not skeptic, not a full skeptic. No, I mean, I'm skeptical about a few cases.
Right then, yeah. Oh, that's good.
No, I'm not one of those
Yep.
blind skeptics that'll just not believe anything. No, I'm not a skeptic.
Yeah.
I'm skeptical about certain things, but I've been doing this for many years.
As you would be too. Yeah.
I've experienced so many things that I couldn't explain, so I know that there's definitely. I mean, you can ask me if ghosts exist, and I'll say yes, they do exist. So I know they exist. I just don't know what they are. So that's part of my search, is talking to people, and also going out for myself to locations and just experiencing things for myself. So yeah, it's all about trying to rationalize it. And
it's really
fascinating. I love it. Absolutely love it.
And it must be really cool hearing, other different stories from other people as well, which would be really cool.
It is. I mean, you've got to learn not to be sort of judgmental about things. I mean, everybody is different, and I've experienced things that other people would say that I'm crazy. I mean, there are people that I've worked with.
Yeah.
I'll tell them a story, and they'll tell me I'm crazy, but I'm quite a rational thinking sort of guy. But even I've experienced things I couldn't explain. And they're pretty amazing, and they seem to fall outside of the ordinary. So paranormal, yeah. So
definitely paranormal, yeah.
Yeah.
And I love it. I really love it.
Yeah. Oh, it's great to be a part of, and it's just you're learning all the time, and just meeting new people all the time, and hearing stories. And I mean, I'm quite surprised at just the stuff that I've learned just through the years. And I've never really been a spiritual type person. I'm not a sensitive sort of person. I'm not not really open to that kind of thing. But just the stuff that I've encountered shows me that it's definitely there. It's definitely real. And I can't deny it. It's definitely a real thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's totally a real thing. And just because I don't understand something doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It means that I've got a bit more to learn. So that's why I like listening to people.
Exactly, yeah.
That's why I like to listen to people that have had experiences or know a bit more than I do. Because there aren't any experts in this field. And so we're all sort of learning from each other. So love it. It's great.
We sure are. Yep, definitely.
Cool. All right, Lois. I'm going to go and have some dinner now.
Alrighty. Yeah, me too.
Hey, great to talk to you. It's been awesome. I loved it.
It was lovely talking to you, Mark.
Yeah. Finally.
Yeah, same here. Thank you very much.
Finally. Okay.
I reckon.
Stay in touch, okay? I'll get that book out to you too.
Yeah, no, thank you very much.
All right.
Okay.
See you. Bye.